Right. And you can see this is page 24. Okay, and then we started this one yesterday, right? Broken line graph, right? Broken line graph. And look at this part, and then you can look at this part. And then at the bottom, okay. Broken line graph is a statistical diagram, consists of line segments joining adjacent points on the graph paper. And then um, it is often used to show how the frequency of an item changes over a period of time. Okay, that's why you can see that example the example that we had yesterday, or the classwork. Okay, some of you has done the classwork. Okay, you did. Okay, um, one of the informations is the time. Okay, and then the last sentence uh, in this paragraph. Okay, it can also help us observe the trend. Okay, I uh, told you about this yesterday. Okay, and make prediction. Prediction means people can look at the diagram and then can tell something in the future. Okay, that is prediction. Okay, and then you can see on this page at the last part. Okay, you can find the steps for constructing a broken line graph. Okay, look at the bottom. Okay, step 1, you need to draw the scale. That one I would like to talk about it again this time today. Okay, you need to draw the scales on the horizontal axis and vertical axis, and then label the axis. And then the horizontal axis usually represents time, and then vertical axis represent the frequency. And then we need to mark the points. Okay, and then we draw the points, okay, by the line segment. And then we should have a title for the broken line graph, right? And then now we continue with our exercise. I think I go, let me see. Right. Here, I this one. Okay. And then we look at this one. This is question 8. Question 8. Um, on page 32, exercise 12C. Exercise 12C, okay? We are going to do this part. Yeah, it is better to use graph paper. It is better to use graph paper, okay? Or the paper with some, at least with some grid lines. With, no, not draw. We need to have it quite precise, okay? And then I will explain to you later, okay? After we have done this one, okay? Then you have exam, of course, we will provide you the graph paper, no worry. If you need the graph paper, then we will provide you the graph paper, Okay, no need to worry about that. We will follow, actually, our examinations, we followed the standard of DSE exam. Okay, therefore, typically, if in the DSE exam, if this type of question, okay, and is required to be done on a piece of paper, on a piece of graph paper, then we will provide you the graph paper. So no worry, we follow the standards of the public exam. Okay, therefore you should pay attention in your internal exam also. Right, and then we'll look at number 8. And then of course I know that some of you have done this one and then submitted, and then I marked some of your work yesterday. Okay, therefore you can double check. Okay, right, you find this one, okay, in your book. If you can find it, then I just show you the graph paper. Because this time I do it on a piece of graph paper. Let's see. Okay, here, because just now the 2 o'clock. Okay, now this is the graph paper you usually have. Now the case is that I can zoom it to you so that you can have a bigger figure. Okay, but first of all, let's do it in this way. Okay, now some of you has done something like that. This is not good actually. Usually when we do the work, we use one paper for one question only, one piece of paper for one question only. Okay, so that we try our best to use the whole piece of paper. It means, for example, if in examination you have to draw 2 graphs, then we will give you 2 sheets of graph paper. Okay, you can always request the teachers to give you graph paper, even when you have the DSE exam. Okay, understand? Therefore, we don't usually, for one piece of paper, we just do one question. We don't use this one for a lot of questions on it. Okay, so that the diagram is clear enough, instead of squeezing your diagram in just this space. Okay, right? Now, let me show you what some of you has done. This is, I just want to show you with the standard graph paper we use usually. This is A4 size. Okay. Okay. This is the graph paper that you have in your school, the graph book. Okay. Are you okay with it? Happy? I am not going to ask you to use an A3 size paper. Right. what's the problem with the graph paper? Maybe we settle it before we move on. Any more questions? Now, right, if you look at the data, okay, some of you may do something like that. Okay. When I move it, then this one, can I move the drawing? I cannot. Anyway, just keep it like that first. I just do it quickly because this is not a good way to do so, but I want to show you why it is not good. And then January 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of course, we need to write clearly, but I just want to show you quickly. And then first data 105. Okay, should be somewhere here. And then 117. Like that. And then 100. 1, 2, 5. And then 130. Okay, and then 120, like that. Okay, some of you have done in this way. Okay, of course we should use ruler to draw the points, but I just want to do it quickly to show you what happened. Now, then in this case, you can see that there's a lot of empty space here. Okay, this part, because the data, the smallest data is 105. And then it means actually the data start from 105 and then up to 130. Therefore, most of the data, actually all the data are in this range only, Therefore, this part is more or less useless. And therefore, it is not a very good way to show the diagram in this way. It means it just kind of waste of the space. This part has no information, but you can see that if you stop the graph here, okay, if you present your graph just this part, then the information are only in part of the graph, okay, and then a very big space of it has no information. Therefore, in this case, this is not a very good way to do so, okay? Therefore, I think it should be big enough, right? In this case. And then we draw in this way. And then I should, no. Never mind, I add here. You can look at your book clearly because we add a symbols like that. Then in this case, this one we can start with 100. And then we can do it like that. Can I show it a little bit? Let me think. Right. Because I don't want to move that. If I move the graph, then all the writing will move. Maybe I can start from here, or I move it like that. Let's try. If I move it a little bit higher, then the drawing will move. Can I move the drawing? I cannot. That's why I should keep like that. Anyway, okay. Sorry about that. The case is that we have this kind of symbol. Okay, I want to move it a little bit. Okay, and then we have symbols like that. Okay, it looks like that, and then so that it means we skip the values. Therefore, we can start from 100 here, and then in this case we can have 105 here, 110, 115, 120, 125, and 130. And then this one represents number of digital products. Number of digital products. Okay, and then this one month. And then we can have January, February, March, April, May, and then June. And then in this case, January 125, 105 is here. And then 117. Then it is very clear. You can mark it very accurate, very precise. And then 100 is here. And then 125. And then 130. And then 120. Then in this case, after you mark the point, then we can draw the lines. Draw the points with the straight lines like that. Okay? Then it is much better. And then we need to have a title on top. Okay? And then this time I'm not going to write it this time. Okay, because I don't want to move the diagram. But this is This is what I want to show you, that this part. I just want to show you how to use this one. Okay, this kind of symbol. It means if you find that you look at the lowest values, you look at the lowest data or smallest data. Okay, you first look at the smallest data, and then also look at the largest. The smallest data then can tell you whether you need to skip some of the values. Okay, it means this part is not in scale. Okay, and then you look at the largest data. Okay, largest datum, and then you after you have seen these two values. Okay, and then in this case, then you try to decide. Okay, how I mean the interval here, the width here. Okay, the width for the interval. It means you can make your own decision. Okay, in this case, I use 2 square or 10 smaller squares to represent 5. Okay, but of course you can use say 100 and then 105. It is also okay, right? But of course it is not very good if you squeeze your diagram too much. It means if you have for example, this is 100, and for this case, okay, if this is 110, then you may find that you may have difficulty. For example, there's a data which is 117. Then in this case, it is not easy, okay, to mark this one. Okay, therefore, you have when you draw the diagram, okay, you try to make use of the whole piece of paper. It means if you look at your graph paper, you can basically count how many squares are there, okay, and then how many are there. Then you can have some idea, and then look at the smallest one, and then you know what we should start. Okay, do we need to skip the values, and then how many square you need. Of course, sometimes you may not need so many square. Then in this case, uh, if you have a diagrams like that, it is still okay. Okay, but you just but you are just reminded that you have such big piece of paper. You can use all the squares if necessary, or sometimes it depends on the data. Sometimes we may even uh, use the paper in this way. Okay, you just turn your paper like that. Okay, for example, if you have 24 sets of data, 24 months for 2 years, then you may need quite a lot of space on this direction to mark the time, mark the month. Then you turn your paper, okay, rotate your paper 90 degrees. Okay, then you can draw in this way, right? Therefore, you should know how to make good use of your graph paper. Okay. Then we look at any more questions. about drawing broken line graph. Any more questions? How difficult is it? I just want to tell you, you can make use of the whole piece of paper. Okay, you don't need to worry in the examination, because if you have made any mistakes on the piece of graph paper, then you can just ask the teachers to get another piece. Even in DSE exam, they provide graph paper. Therefore, you don't need to squeeze your diagram. I mean, it means you have such big piece of paper. Okay, then in this case, you should not just draw in this way, like that. Okay, you can make use of all the space. And then I just introduce you this symbol. It means you need to skip some of the values. But the case, one more point. When you skip the values, you can only skip at the beginning. It means if the smallest start at 1,000, then you can skip the first 1,000. Okay, start with 1,000 here, and then maybe 1,500, like that. But you cannot skip in the middle. Okay, this one is very important. It means you cannot, be very careful. You cannot do it in this way, 1,500, and then you suddenly add such kind of symbol, and then it becomes 4,000. Okay, this cannot. No. It means if you want to skip, maybe you skip some data at the beginnings, but not data in the middle. Maybe let's look at the textbook. I want to show you the textbook. You can turn to page 35. 35. 35. Or 34. Right. Look at this one. You look at this one. In this case, it means you can see that the values of the data start from 35 to 60. Okay, therefore, if you follow this one, if you follow this one square is 5. If you don't skip the values, then the graph may look like that: 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, like that. But this part will be empty. This part will be empty. Okay, therefore in this case, you can see this symbol. Okay, therefore here, of course, the bottom must be 0. And then quickly, now you can see here, one big square represents 5, right? One big square represents 5. But here it's not, okay? It's 30, 1, 0, and then becomes 30. Therefore, you can see this symbol. Therefore, it means the first 30, okay, has been skipped. And then starting from here, after you have made the decision, okay, each one big square represents 5, right? 5, 5, 5, right? Then in this case, you need to follow this scale. Okay, then you can see that 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, like that. Okay, and then we cannot suddenly in the middle, okay, for example, up to here, and then suddenly can we add another symbols like that? And then instead of having 45 here and not 50, and then it becomes a 70, 75, 80, like that. The case is we cannot do so. Don't do this. Okay? Therefore, this is what I need to remind you. If you want to use this one, usually because the data here, okay, starts with before that, there will be a lot of space if you follow this scale to draw the graph starting from 0. Okay, therefore, in this case, we skip part of the data here, part of the values here on this axis. And then you need to tell people that you have skipped something. Therefore, you add this symbol. Okay, and then you can also look at the other one. Look at the next one or next page, I mean. This one, you can see here, this part, can you see that? Because basically, okay, the lowest, I mean the smallest value is 500 something. And then the range, I mean the data, the range of the data is around 500 something to around 1,000. It's just this part. Therefore, in this case, if you don't skip the values, okay, if you use the graph paper in this way, okay, if this is 50, no, cannot, maybe 100, 200, 300. Can you imagine what happened? This part, half of the graph will be empty. And then starting from here, then you have the graph, something like that. It looks something like that. Okay. And then this part is empty. I mean, this part is empty. It is useless. Okay. Therefore, we don't need to show this empty part. Therefore, in this case, we have this symbol here. Okay. It means we don't need to show this part. I mean, this part. We don't need to show this part. Okay. And then we start from here. Just show people the upper part. And therefore, we skip the lower part in this way. Okay. And then you cannot skip anything in the middle. Okay, therefore, in this case, if you start from here, 1 square represents 100, then you need to follow. Okay, starting from here, 100, 100, 100, I mean, 100 more, 100 more, 100 more, 100 more, 100 more, something like that. Okay, any more questions? Any more? Now then in this case, maybe we don't look at this one. We look at a simple question first. Now for numbers, is move very quickly. For number 7 and number 8, okay, you are required to draw the broken line graph. And then starting from chapter 9, starting from question 9, you should learn how to read the graph. How to read the graph. Okay, it means how to get the information from the graph. Okay, and then for this one, you can also refer. Now, this part may be starting to, this part may start to be more difficult because you need to write some answer in sentence. And therefore, in this case, I would suggest you to read from example 7, okay, from page 27. And then you look at the solution part and then learn how to write the sentence. Okay, right, let's look at this one first. Now, for this one, the broken line graph below shows the profits of restaurant from 2. You can read it in your textbook, boys and girls. This is from your textbook. You have the textbook, right? Exercise 12C. Right. And then from 2008 to 2013, therefore you can see that 2008, this one, and then this one is not $20. It is the unit is $20 million. Million. And then therefore this one means this value. Okay, because the unit, this is already the unit, 1 million. Million is already the unit. Therefore, 20 means 20 million. Anyone can help him. It is not the same. Okay, right. Okay. Okay, you stop writing. I take the other exercise. Sorry about that. Okay. Let me see. Where is it? This one, right? Okay, should be this one, right? And then, okay, it's more or less the same. Okay, and then we have This time, okay, this graph shows the number of gold medals, okay, in a swimming galas, means swimming competitions, okay, from the year 2009 to 2014. Okay, now then in this case, you can see that in this case, the data, okay, start from 2 only, okay. Therefore, in this case, we don't need to skip anything. Then in this case, you cannot find that kind of symbol, okay. And first of all, okay, you need to find the total number of gold medals won by school from 2009 to 2014. Yes, you read from here, okay, two, 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 and then 3, 5, 8. Okay, add all these together, then you should get 22. Okay, it means for part A, we have 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 8, okay, which is 22. And then part B, between which two successive years, okay, these two, okay, successive, okay. And then, for example, these two successive, okay. But if between this one and then this one, then in this case it's not successive in this case, okay. Right, therefore you can see that from here, okay, it means you compare 2 years like that, okay. Of course, for these there's no change, okay. And then if you look at this one, from 2 to 3, okay, increase by 1 only. From this one, increase from 3 to 5, therefore increase by 2 only. And this one increase from 5 to 8, okay, increase by 3. Therefore, this part should be the most. Therefore, you are just asked between which years. Therefore, you can write down just from 2013 to 2014. Okay. Of course, if you want to write the complete sentence, the the number of gold medals won by the school increased past tense. If you want to answer the question, you can copy this one here, but you need to change this one to past tense. Okay. And then part 3 and part C, describe the trend of the number of gold medals won by school from 2009 and then 2014. Okay, it means you have to tell something about this line. Now, then in this case, you may, now, this part, okay, there's no change. Then in this case, you describe this part first. Maybe use this one. It is talking about gold medals. no change, or remain the same, or unchanged. Okay, can use this word. And then from 2011 to 2014. Now, there's quite you can refer example, say example 7. Let me see. Example 8. Okay, you have this kinds of questions. Describe. Then you can see here what you need to do. It means you have to write some sentences, okay, to tell people what's going on here, okay, or what the diagrams is going to tell you. Now, then sometimes, because for this case, okay, this part, okay, from 2009 to 2011, okay, this part is the behavior of this part is totally different from this one, okay, because in this case, there's no change, okay, every year, okay, 2009, 2 medals, 2010, 2 medals, 2011, no medal, 2 medals, okay, and then starting from 2011, okay, then the number of medals, okay, started to increase, but that's the case, it increased a kind of, we can use steadily or gradually, okay, it means not very quick, because you can see that from 2011 to 2012, okay, the decrease is only 1. And then from the next part, 20 to 12 to 2013, okay, the increase is 2, right? From 3 to 5, and then from 5 to 8, okay, and then increase by 3. And therefore, in this case, there was an increase, but the increase was not very sudden, okay? It increased more and more and more, bit by bit. Therefore, in this case, we use this word. You need to learn these words actually. Gradually, okay? You can find this word on page 27, okay? If it suddenly increase like that, for example, if it increase instead of 5 to 8, it increase from 5 to 20 maybe, okay? Okay, this is 5, right? Now then in this case, this part, yes. Then in this case, this part, we say that it is sharply, okay, a very, very big increase, okay, sharply, okay. Therefore, there are a few words that you need to know in this part, okay. I am going to erase the writing. Now, usually we use this word steady or steadily. Okay, this is adverb. Okay, this one is adjective. And then sometimes we may have gradually. Okay, and then steady. And the adjective sometimes unchanged. Okay. Of course, for the verb, you should know these words. Increase, increase. If we are use the word as a verb, then it pronounces as increase, decrease. But if I use the words as nouns, then it will be increase, decrease. Okay, and then sometimes we may have the most, the least, and then there's a word that you may not have seen that before. Fluctuate. Fluctuate. Okay. Right. You should know the meaning of increase. Increase, decrease, right? Fluctuate means I don't know the trend. I don't know the trend. In this case, the trend here is going up. Therefore, in this case, I may think that if I look at this part, I may think that it will continue to go up like that. Okay, the trend is increasing. Fluctuate means this one. Okay, going up and down, up and down, up and down like that. Okay, and then you can never tell what's next. Okay, but for this one, if you look at this exercise again, okay, if you look at this part, then you may think that it should go up. Okay, it should go up. Okay. Yes, yes, I have the diagram here already. Okay, I have draw the diagram here already. Okay, this is kind of fluctuate. Okay, going up, 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 down, down. Okay, and then increase, increase, decrease. Okay, not very quickly, then we may steady or very stable. Okay, gradually it is slowly increasing. Steadily is even slower. Okay, steadily is sometimes maybe a little bit slower than gradually. Okay, steady, it means quite stable. Sometimes the increase may be like or it's not really fluctuate, but the change is not clear. But fluctuate maybe something like that. Then this is fluctuate. Okay, but if something like that, it may there is a little increase or decrease, but we don't call it fluctuate. In this case, we may just call it quite steady, quite steady. Okay, and then we can also have some words like sharply. Then it is quite sudden. Okay, maybe from this part to this part, then we may say that it increased sharply, or we can have decrease sharply. Okay, right. Okay, it's nearly 2 p.m. Okay, right. Let's see. And then you can try number 10. Okay, this is your class for today. Number 10. And then you need to write the sentence. Okay, this one. Describe, predict. Predict, it means fifth. If third like that, fourth like that, and then fifth. What do you think? Okay, then it is called predict. Okay, tell something in the future that it is predict. Okay, right. Now, listen. Okay, tomorrow I will go through this one with you. Okay, and then I will talk about page 36, stem and leaf. I will start stem and leaf diagram tomorrow. And then this one, you can mark it down. Very, 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 very important. Because there's stem and leaf diagrams are very common in DSE exam. Stem and leaf diagram. You can look at your book, page 36, starting from page 36. Okay, that one is very common, okay, in DSE exam. Okay, that's why we may spend more time on it. And therefore, it means tomorrow, okay, I will talk about exercise 12C, okay, number 10. This one, more or less like that. And then also stem and leaf diagram. And then next week, 18, 19, you can mark down the important date.